I decide if I'm doing it for fun or to monetize. I do the title, thumbnail, and hook, and use new features like the green screen, AI tool, and YouTube Shorts. If you're on the fence about starting YouTube this year, I'd say go for it. Even if you look at something like YouTube Shorts, I did a full challenge here for 30 days, and I put the same exact video on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts, and it performed best on YouTube Shorts. Fast forward, because I think that was probably like 2 years ago, to this day, those short clips perform the best right here on YouTube. But let's fast forward and move to long form content, like the real YouTube channel. Here's what I do. I decide if I'm doing it for fun or to monetize. If I'm doing it for fun, cool, go for it. I would just focus on creating 2 to 4 main pillars. Whether my thing is beauty, fashion, lifestyle, like 2 to 4 main pillars that I'm really focused on. But at the end of the day, if I'm doing it for fun, this better be fun, and I better be thinking outside the box, like super creative. There's nothing stopping me. Like, I'm not worried about parameters. I'm not worried about metrics. Like, literally go take a run with it because you're doing it for fun. Now, on the other side, if you're starting because you have that monetization goal in mind, here's what I do. I'd niche down. And listen up, I'm not talking about the regular niche down that everyone talks about. This is different. I'm talking about niching your audience, not the topic. When you niche your audience, it looks like this, and I loved this visual example from Michelle Polar. She shared it on Instagram, and it's basically imagining the Target logo. So you have that circle, right? It's like if you don't live in America, the Target logo looks like a bullseye thing, like where you throw your darts at. So it's a circle, and it gets bigger as you go out. So you think of your audience like this logo. You're gonna have your inner circle, and these are your tight people that literally just relate to you, resonate, and want content around all your main pillars. For me, for example, it's travel, it's having an online business, it's wellness, it's finance, it's being in like that personal growth space. I love that. And if you're here, I know you do too. But then we move out to an outer circle. An outer circle might be people that land on my content a couple times. Maybe they're into some of the books that I read, but they're really not into the traveling and the online business and maybe like my wellness habits. That's fine. I still love you guys. We move out even bigger, and maybe it's a lot of you guys that found me through UGC. My whole world isn't UGC. I do so much more than just UGC. But maybe you just liked my content for that one topic that really blew up on my channel, and that's perfectly fine. I know that at the end of the day, when I'm creating content, if I have that Target logo in mind, I'm all good. Because when it comes to the monetization, it is a lot easier to line up with brands that fall into what that Target logo would like. If you end up wanting to create a product, you'd create something for what that Target logo would like. Obviously, you're in there too, but you know that as you spread out, like as the circles get bigger and bigger, there's people that might not be fully focused, but they're still in there with you. Next, I'd focus on these 3 main elements, which are probably the most crucial thing about YouTube, which I had no idea about, and they would have drastically transformed my journey. It's the title, the thumbnail, and your hook. Think of it like a triple threat. When I first started on YouTube, I was still in the mentality that YouTube was for pranks. I never took a course on YouTube. I literally learned as I went. If I were to start now, I would sit down and watch YouTube videos just like this one. There is so much educational value for free on this platform that it makes no sense not to sit down and watch it. And don't think that you need a course. You definitely don't. Just like you can't think that you need the best equipment to get started. You don't need the camera, you don't need the mic, you don't need to wait for your backdrop to arrive from Amazon. Those are just excuses. I started YouTube with the camera on my laptop, and it wasn't even this one because that was years ago. So the camera on those laptops was like terrible quality. And even then, I used that for a couple weeks, and what I focused on was not the quality. Like I didn't even care about that. The quality, the mic, the lighting. I was sitting in the darkest room ever. Of course, I could have done better with what I had. Even using my phone would have been so much better. Opening a window would have been so much better. But it's the point that I put it up, I got through that, and then each video I improved by 5% and 5% and 5% and 5%. I went from this to what my videos look like now. There's clearly a big difference in quality. When you start, you film with whatever you have. Whatever that may be, that's what you use. So besides the triple threat, the title, the thumbnail, and the hook, I'd understand and learn about metrics. Knowing what the metrics mean is so important. They tell you absolutely everything. First, I'd look at the CTR. This means your click-through rate. That's basically the indicator that your title and thumbnail aren't working. If that percentage is low, you know you have to go back and create more titles and thumbnails. Personally, something that I do right now, which of course I didn't do back then when I started, is I actually sit down and I'll create 3 to 5 different versions of thumbnails with different text, and I make sure that the text on the thumbnail kind of like adds to what I'm saying on that title. You want the person to have like that double confirmation, which of course I didn't do that when I started. When I started, I would literally put the same sentence for my title and put that same thing on the thumbnail. You don't need the same thing twice. Then I'd look at the one right next to it, the average view duration. This pretty much tells you how your hook is doing. If people dropped right off, if your average view duration is super short, you know you need to work on those first 10 seconds of the video. You need to hook them in, you need to let them know what's going on, and you need to convince them basically to keep on watching till the end. Obviously this varies because each video will have a different length, so you always want to make sure that you're also looking at the percentage of the video watched. Since this is going to vary from video to video, what I highly recommend is actually clicking on each video and understanding where you had dips or spikes. Obviously in the dips in the following videos, you can start to add elements like sound effects, different B-roll, maybe change the way that you're speaking, like in the script, make something that's even more engaging. And in the dips, you know that worked. So what can you do to repeat that more often? Now lastly, 2 more things that I would do before we jump into the new features that YouTube had, which they were definitely not out when I first got started, that I definitely take advantage of them now. The first one would probably be consume and make the ideas mine. So the more that you watch YouTube, because obviously if you're like me and I literally thought that YouTube was for pranks, I didn't have any idea that YouTube could be like lifestyle. I didn't know that YouTube could be educational. I didn't know I could use YouTube to learn so much like I use it now. So I started consuming a lot more to understand the platform, because obviously consuming TikTok, consuming Instagram isn't going to help for what you're posting on YouTube. You need to understand this platform. So as I consumed more and more, I started realizing certain things that I'm like, I love this. Like, I love how this person does this style. I love how this person puts text over the screen. And I'm not saying to copy. That's definitely not something I approve of. But what I am saying is to use the tactics in the book Steal Like an Artist to find what you like and make it yours. Make it authentic to your brand. Make it something that fits and works with your own channel. And the last is to ask for feedback. And I know sometimes when we're starting a YouTube channel, we kind of keep it on the low. Like we're like, I'm starting it for fun. If it works out, I'll share it with people. If it doesn't work out, no one will know. Trust me, I know, I was there too. But the act of finding someone that you trust, people that you can confide in, and people that you know are going to give you good feedback. And these people don't have to be people you know. This could be people online. There are tons of communities online, because just as valuable as it is for you, it's so valuable for other people. And creators all around the world that are just starting on YouTube, like everyone watching this video, creators that have been posting and it just doesn't seem to work, like they'd love to have someone giving them feedback. So obviously the better that you get at just sharing it and saying, hey, what do you think I could improve? Did you like this? Like, did you ever get distracted? Did you want to leave the video? Understand when people leave the video and why they're getting distracted, why they're like, let me just scroll my phone. Those are all little things that you take, you implement, and you make better with each new video. With the new YouTube features like editing directly on YouTube, that just makes life so much easier, because I know one of the main things that stop people from creating content on YouTube is like, hey, this video is super long. Then what? I'm not just gonna post it. Like, what if I mess up? Like, what do I do? Normally in the past, I would have recommended free apps like InShot or even the video software that comes automatically on your computer, but YouTube rolling out an editing platform. It's still in beta because I'm letting you know of new YouTube features, but YouTube already having one in their platform makes the process so much easier, and it honestly just makes that excuse no longer valid. Just like the excuse that you don't know what to post, and maybe you're not there yet if you haven't started, but once you start, you're going to notice that there's a couple weeks where the creative juices just aren't flowing and you're like, what should I post? Like, I know I had a ton of ideas, but this week I just can't think of any. It happens to me a lot of the times, which is why I was super excited when YouTube announced their AI tool for generating new video ideas. I mean, it's using AI, and this is a new feature, but what I'd expect it to do is to understand what has performed well on my channel already, what my audience also likes, and it to like mash up and just generate a handful of ideas that are going to be very useful for me. And of course, features like YouTube Shorts, it's not a new one, but they are adding in more and more features, like being able to funnel people from your short form content into your long form content, which is something that no other platform does. That's why YouTube is a powerhouse. And it doesn't stop just there. New things like the dream screen, which is basically another AI feature where you can basically create your own backdrop for YouTube Shorts, telling it whatever you want it to be. If you want to be in outer space while you create a video, if you want to be in the middle of the ocean, these little things just open the door and allow you to think outside the box and be so creative with your content. Now, whatever you do, whatever style of content you decide to go towards, whether it's more educational, talking head, lifestyle, or something super creative, what you do have to focus on is committing to hit at least 10 videos once you decide to go all in. There are so many people that start on YouTube, they see no traction and they stop before the 10th video. And it's totally normal. Everyone started on YouTube with a terrible video. You can't expect to be creating masterpieces off the first hit. You can't expect thousands of people to come in. You get better and better with each video, but commit to hitting at least 10. And once you hit the 10, commit to hitting 100. If you get to 100, you're far ahead of millions and millions of people, because trust me, getting to 100 is something that not that many people do. I monetized my channel exactly at the 100th video, and that was without knowing absolutely anything, like zero. You already know all of this, so you're way ahead. What are you waiting for? Get started, and I'll see you right back here on this same channel next week. Bye-bye.